All right, hello everyone. Welcome to Cinderful Gaming. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Yeah, work in progress Wednesday. I'm still working on some Beasts of Chaos. Got my Tuskor chariots here that I'm working on. They're the last things I've got to go with. Barazeng or Shaman, I've still got to do, but whether that's part of the Beast of Chaos or part of the Zinch Force, sort of fits in both. But this is the last dedicated Beast of Chaos unit I've got to do. So at the end of the line with them, which is cool. So I'm just dropping down some base coats on the crew, and now I've got to get some washes and stuff done on all of them, and we can start getting them all finished. So I'm just going to sort of decide some colors and stuff. Need a little bit more lead belcher, I think, to put down some more metal. Just a few of the guys, just belt buckles and stuff like that. And if you're in the chat, let us know what you're working on, what you've been doing past week in hobby. Of course, that metals. GW ones don't like staying together, but that's all I have. I really got to try some different metallics out there. Yeah. Just going to put a few more little metal details on this guy here. Really cool little models, these Tuskor chariots. I don't know if these are like the actual crew. Or just some random crew, but these are ones I got in like a second-hand sort of trade. So I think this dude's actually like a best of God champion, and he was missing a hand, so I put a cool banner on him. So one of the chariots will have a nice cool banner. But yeah, it's a pretty cool little force. I've enjoyed painting like the Darkwalker scheme a lot. So I'm definitely looking forward to adding some more models to the army in the future. It should be fun. But for the meantime, I think I've got about 1,000 points plus some little bits of summoning all done up. I've got to do the Herdstone yet. Haven't done that, so I mean, technically I'm not nearly done because I've got to do the Herdstone yet. But this will be the last of the actual army model. I mean, I can play without a Herdstone. It's not required, but it is free, so I would like to get it done. Just need a bit of run outside. These are the Tuskor chariot crew, Huey. Nice to see you there, man. How goes the progress on all your Nighthaunt? Have you made any more progress since your little challenge? So these are Tuskor chariot crew. I don't know if they're the actual crew, but I got a bunch of all my Beast of Chaos is pretty much a second hand, sort of just really cheap bundle I managed to get. I think these guys are like an older Chariots crew, and I think this guy is a current Chariots crew, and I'm pretty sure this guy here is actually the Bestigor champion from the metal kits. He was missing an arm, so I put a banner on him because, looks going to look cool. Make one of the Chariots look a bit more awesome. But yeah, so just Tuskor chariots. About 1,000 points of Beastman plus a bit of summoning all done, which is cool. that's all the base colors, so we can start washing stuff now, which is cool. And then while we're waiting for washes on them to dry, I can start working on like the chariots and the actual Tuscors. And also the best Father's Day present I got a nice coffee machine, so I have real coffee tonight. Oh, the difference in that from instant is amazing. All right. So we need to put some Nuln oil down. I'm just going to double check my paint thing, make sure I put it down on all the right spots. Metal, leather, and red. So we'll leave that to there, and we'll do the Agrax Earthshade on the brass, wood, and horns. So, where is Agrax? When I find it, no. Oh, awesome, man! That's great to hear that they're almost done. I've got my own Nighthaunt project that I'll need to get going. I've got my own bunch of Mortal Realms magazines that I've picked up, so that'll be fun. Aim will be to have them and the Bone Reapers painted up by Halloween, so we can do some Death Armies on Halloween. All right, so where is it? Yeah, brass, wood. So I picked up a bunch of wood elves secondhand today as well. I bought them a while ago, but they finally got delivered today, which is cool. So I've now got like a ton of spare Orion models, which is cool. I really love that model. He's my favorite Warhammer Fantasy character, so I'm going to be able to get to play around with him, which is going to be awesome. Mandy, nice to see you there. Hope you're doing well. What are you working on, Mandy? Anything on your hobby desk at the moment? You've always got something going. Yeah. So I got what else? I've got a ton of Wildwood Rangers as well in it, which is going to be awesome. Meaning I can finally start running like the Living City Battalion, which is going to be fun. That's what I've really been wanting out of this. So I've got some cool models to paint, and I've got that Living City Battalion, which will be great. So got now 80 Wildwood Rangers in total now. And which is cool. So yeah, a bunch of Wildwood Rangers. It's going to be fun. So I can run that list, which is going to be awesome. just some of the cool character models as well. I've got the Great Stag Hero. He's missing a couple of bits, but I can still make a dude on Giant Stag, which would be fun. Oh, and for anyone watching or watching back, if you are a football fan, and by football I mean real football, or in some countries soccer, depending what you're talking about, depending where you are. I'm going to be running with some Warhammer people a fantasy league for the Premier League, which starts up in a couple of days. So if you're interested in that, you can just shoot me a message and I'll send you the invite link to that. Living City, the battalion. So it's like 3 units of Wild Rangers, a unit of Wild Riders, and a Nomad Prince. And effectively, it can all like. What was the bonus it gets? I can't even remember the bonus it gets. Give me a sec. Just pull up my battalion now. You can add one to the charge rolls. So for units in that battalion, they'll rock up. So they get +1 naturally from their own horns. They get +1 from the battalion. And you can put like cogs on the battlefield. There'd be +4 to charge with those units. So you could be needing 5-inch charges, which is really cool. Alright, so now we need the Noon oil wash. So the Noon oil is going on all our red, our metal, and our leather. A lot of places on this model. Yeah, big old Wood Elf fan, so I look forward to just being able to run like a majority and probably even, use a lot of stand-ins in the army to represent other things that aren't Wood Elves. So use old Wood Elf models to represent other things. Which should be great. It's starting to rain here. So when I'm done, $10 down, 150 go. Woohoo! Keep it, man. Weird, it's getting into spring weather, and that in Australia is nice and weird. One day, like it was 28 on Monday. Sucks. I was working. We had a lovely, 28-degree day outside. It was absolutely beautiful. And where my work is too, we're sat on a hill, and we look into the mountains. So all you can see is the beautiful mountain line and everything. So it was rather sucky just to stare outside at that all day. Yeah, back to work tomorrow. But managed to get a few games in, so we've put up a couple of battle reports this week. Had one against Cron, and then had a game against the wife. Been a ton of fun just putting up the battle reports. And have newfound respect for anyone who tries to do them. I think you don't realize how hard it is just to do that. And just something as simple as remember your rules while you're recording. I have gotten multiple rules wrong. I forgot multiple things. Only to be, I've been told in the comments of the battle reports without doubt. So that's an interesting experience doing that. I think we've got 7 up on the channel now, which is cool. So hopefully you should be able to get these Beasts of Chaos in a battle report sometime soon, hopefully. Once I can schedule a game with someone. And once I have it finished. Which will be fun. Look forward to playing a game. I mean, I finally got to play a game with my Gloomspite army. I've played a few now with them. They're all up on the channel. Every game I've played with my Gloomspite army is on the channel. So you can go see my terrible, terrible rules knowledge of them. I think we're just playing for fun on the channel. There's nothing overly competitive about any battle reports on the channel. Playing lots of cool, fun missions. I played a game against the wife, which was fun. Played a couple of the Battletome missions, which are really cool. So while we wait for them to dry, we're going to start working on the Tuskors, who I need large base brush for, because we're going to put lots of black onto them. Get their fur and down. Yeah. All right. I think the thing people need to realize is the vast majority of battle reports. Two things. People should not take battle reports as gospel for what is a good list. Most battle reports are just 2 people playing the game for fun. I know very few channels play competitive or do competitive battle reports, and the ones that attract the most people definitely do not, at least in AOS. Do not focus on. And something I found too, people don't like being spoiled on them. So someone posted the results of one of the bat reps, in the comments, and people got annoyed because they wanted to watch and they wanted to see how the game worked out. Like, it was all a story to them, which was interesting. Like, this person, and well, multiple people were just like, it's not about like whether I know what's going to win. It was all about the story of the game that they watched the battle report for. And I'm like, that's really cool. It's a very different way of thinking about them. And you get lots of new people watching them, and they're just looking at, oh, this looks like fun. So you don't want to have games that are over in 2 minutes. People who want competitive will search for the competitive battle report channels. But I find a lot of it's not easy. You forget crap all the time. And like, you do everything you can to stop forgetting stuff. Yeah, I found a newfound respect for anyone who makes battle reports. Like, I guess now doing them properly, I understand a lot more. The pains and the anguish that goes through, especially when you're like, it sucks to know you got a game wrong, you got a rule wrong somewhere. Like, it sucks, and it sort of makes you feel less about your battle reports. But the amount of time I've got mistakes wrong in actual games is quite high as well. Like, mistakes happen all the time. Everyone makes them. No one is perfect. Yeah, it sucks when there's there's some cool models too that I'm going to paint up soon. So I picked these up from a 3D printing company called Bricks Minis. Definitely one of the ones I've been more impressed with. I've bought models off a few 3D printing companies. I'm still waiting on one lot to come through from a company called Miniature Empire, but Bricks Minis, they're really clean, really nicely done. Like, really good quality resin as well, nice and sturdy. I also picked up these ones from another one called Anima Games, and not quite as impressed. The white's not really showing up. They seem to be made of a much more brittle material. The detail is not as fine as the other ones, despite this being a much bigger model. It's not as fine as the ones I got from Bricks Minis. But yeah, and the detail's not as fine, and also communication was average. And I'll do a whole video on these 3D printing companies, like looking for other models. But yeah, it also didn't state like that model was that big. It was like 28mm model, and then it came and it's like 50 centimeters tall. I'll probably use it as like an Avatar of the Hunt or something, an Orion stand-in. But yeah, it just wasn't clearly indicated what it was. So there was a little bit. I've ordered a bunch, and I'm going to be doing like reviews on like how I thought all these companies went. Yeah, Bricks Minis is an Australian one. I was very thoroughly impressed with them. Communication was amazing. Also got a cool little Patreon thing set up for them, where you can get some random minis, sort of like a mystery box, which is cool. Just cool things to paint up for my D&D games. So that's cool. But yeah, I've got another one from Artel Minis that I've got to put together yet, and I've got a couple of the pin-up models from Kingdom Death as well. Which is going to be fun. Yeah. That's definitely been something I've been looking at too, is just like alternate models. Looking for some cool models to paint. Definitely been doing a bit of that. And I'm just going to repaint up these chariots here. So, need more thing brown. So probably get painting some of those minis I bought off other companies soon, hopefully. I'm going to get working on my Lumineth as well at some point soon. I've got so many projects and enough time. Everyone's biggest problem, I guess. And so just get the other base coat on the other chariot. And then we can start layering up and finish the crew. Morning, Soren. Nice to see you there, mate. Hope you're doing well. You say that, but remember, I did paint up a glimpse by Git's army in 24 hours. 2,000 points of Gits in 24 hours. Over 10 days, I think it was. I know I like inflicting pain upon myself with the painting challenges I set. Hey, Dan, or the Khan. Nice to see you there, man. Thank you for popping in. Yes, I have some Beasts of Chaos on the paint desk tonight. They've been on the paint desk for way too long, and they just need to get done. I'm just trying to finish off some half-finished projects just to boost those numbers up of models painted this year, because we're lagging around that 600 model mark. Just want to get to 1,000 in the year. If I could paint 1,000 models this year, I'd be a very happy person. So that's where we're aiming to be. Is 1,000 models by the end of the year is what I want to have achieved. I think at the start of the year it was a model a day. That was the goal, a model a day. But I had, thanks to lockdown, had smashed past that well and truly. Mid-year, I was 500-ish. I own a few contrasts, but not many. I use them to replace the glazes that GW got rid of. and that's literally all I use them for, is glazing and washing. I'm still not. I would say I'm still not a heavy contrast user. I used them a decent amount of the kits, but that was still multiple layers of contrast. That was, yeah, maybe we'll get a big game. Maybe it'll be like all the models and I'll split it over two sides, because it's probably pretty even between good and evil. What have I got? I've got a Zinc Charmy, I've got a Warband, Vontaine Beast, I've got the Git, and I've got the Beast of Chaos, and I've got 2 lots of cities and a Stormcast. Maybe that might be an idea. You know what, Dan? That might be a great idea. Maybe at the end of the year, we will do a Order versus Rest, or maybe Order and Death versus Chaos Destruction. Soren, there's certain cases where I do that, and there's some cases where I don't. It all depends on the contrast for me. There are different contrasts, and some of them are good, some of them are not at doing that. I think is the way to put that. Some of the colors of contrast are not great. Some of them are really good. I'm a big fan of the black. I use that a lot. I do like the white as well. The white helps just make my whites. Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, if I get the armies done, we're definitely the right way. Destruction's got the gits. It could work. Chaos and Order would definitely be bigger. So, but yeah, maybe we'll work something out for a bat wrap on the channel of using all the models that are painted this year. Something interesting we're going to be doing on the channel soon. So me and one of my good mates, Ideas, we're going to be doing Black Library reviews. So it should be at least one out weekly. It'll be like we'll listen to a audiobook or read a book together, and then we'll be doing like a little review on the book. I should be putting up a poll soon for what we're going to do first. We're going to get together, listen to an audiobook together, and then do a review on it. And that will be a mix of AOS and 40k. That'll be something fun to have happen on the channel. It'll be cool and fun. I need a larger brush now. But yeah, if you're watching, let us know what you've been working on hobby-wise this past week. Love to hear from everyone. And to all the dads, well, don't know about around the world, but in Australia it was Father's Day last weekend, so to all the dads, happy Father's Day. Hey, Trav, nice to see you, man. 1,000 models, I should be able to hit it, man. Like it's definitely doable. I'm at about 600 now. Once I finish these piecemen up. Lockdown was, I mean, technically we're probably closer to, like, we're probably like 750 if I count terrain. The amount of terrain I painted up for SAGT and CDGT. Nice. I need to get painting my Marines. I've got a Black Dragon's Force that I'm going to paint up. So, got to get them all built and sprayed. I've got Indominus there still sitting there. That was the first GT I've organised, yeah. CDGT. First 2 day I've organised. Went really, really well. And that'll be happening every year. Hopefully, there's a bunch of people that are in the chat now that can make it. Next year, hopefully, restrictions and all that COVID stuff is gone away, so people can. Sure, yeah. Or what do I have that I could like? Like I do have 100 chain rasp. I've got a bunch of Stormcast. I know I can smash out Stormcast really, really quick. I've got 60 Dryads sitting there. That's an easy 60 models done. Bloodletters as well. There's not a lot to Bloodletters. I've got 80 of them. I probably will go back and finish up the corn because I've got 80 Blood Reavers, like 50% done. So they'll probably be next on the paint block. Getting the corn army I have all nice and done. Which will be fun. But, you know, I'm not trying to rush it. I would be happy if I get that. And also, good afternoon, Gary. Nice to see you there, mate. Or good night, where it is my time. Bringing up my paint scheme. So XV88 for the wood. But yeah, the Beastmen have been fun. This is about, so what is it? There's been 40, I haven't added this to my total, so there's 40 gore, 6 bull gore, so it's 46, 2 chariots, 48, Shagoff and Gargant, so that makes 50, 1, 2, 3, about 53 models. No, 53 added. Yeah, 5 years has certainly gone fast, man. I mean, I never really stopped playing Warhammer. I guess I stopped interacting with the community as much. Um, I was big into fantasy. Fantasy's always been my main game, and now obviously AS is the main game. But yeah, I've never really had a hiatus from Warhammer. There were times when I probably didn't play, but I still read like Black Library fiction and all that sort of stuff. Still was heavily into it. I really look forward to Old World. Like, it won't replace AOS at this point. Old World never will. Like, there's a sad reason why like fantasy died, but I think if they explore the regions of fantasy that weren't explored enough, they will have a good time in Old World. Like, I'm really excited to see all the Kislev stuff they're doing. Like, I hope we can see things from like Nippon and Cathay and the Hinterlands of Kuresh and this like feral lizardmen from the Savage Isles, from the Dragon Isle, sorry, or even Cathay. Old armies, Wood Elves and Skaven were the two I used to play in fantasy. I dabbled in Beastmen a little bit. But any of the guys that I played with back then in the group, so Cron and Tipping, I've played with Cron and Tipping for years. I've known them both since I was like a very young teenager. Um, but yeah, Wood Elves were my main thing. I loved Wood Elves. Oh, nice, Gary. That's a really nice introduction. Like, Lord of the Rings was actually the first minis I got were Lord of the Rings mini. The first mini I got was Lord of the Rings. I started right around when, or really started going into Games Workshop stores around when Two Towers came out. Yeah, around my Two Towers, because GW Tea Plaza at the time had the giant Helm's Deep display board, which was just stunning. And so, yeah, I started with that. I painted up a Last Alliance elf. Was one of the first things I painted up, and then I got my first Wood Elf models, which were the old Dryads. And if you can't see where I'm chatting, that's because we have people from different platforms. So I've got Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube all running. So they're streaming to all of them. So there are people in different chats around there. The vast majority of people are watching from YouTube, which is where we do most of our stuff from. Travis was wondering why he couldn't see this Gary person I was chatting to. No, see, I hope Old World is 28mm because I hope it provides the thing that Heresy does with 40k. See, Heresy, from what I know, a lot of my Heresy friends play 40k as well, and they like to make sure their units are usable in both, especially the Chaos side. It's why Chaos factions in 30k are actually a lot more popular because they sort of fit in really well into Chaos armies, but a lot of Loyalist ones as well. And I see people play them in both games. I hope that the Old World models have a place. Yeah, I hope it's the current scale because I really hope we get something like the Horus Heresy character series for it. Because I'd love to see reimagined versions of like some of the great characters from fantasy that didn't make it to AOS. So things like, or even the characters that were in fantasy but are very different in AOS. You know, even like things like Archaon and Marathi and Tyrion and Teclis and all that. We'll see their new cool models. And even like Tsar Boris, obviously from Kislev, I really think we're going to see him, or maybe the Ice Queen from Kislev. She's a good shout. Some of the old Lisman characters like Tichi Hitchi and the old Dogs of War regiments would be really cool to see, like Leopold's Leopard Company or Perazzo's Lost Legion. Like it will, if it's anything like 30k. Yeah, like that was an issue with 8th. Like fantasy kept on the armies getting bigger and they never culled it to a point. So let's put it this way, my Skaven were considered the hoardiest of horde armies. Like even Death did not have as many models as Skaven because Death invested in big heroes. So you had very expensive heroes. Skaven didn't even have expensive heroes. Everything in Skaven was cheap. Even their big stuff was cheap. And my original Skaven army, so in like 5th and 6th edition, was only about 100 models. And that's like, we're talking the biggest of big armies. Now, by the end of 8th, though, I was running 250 to 300 models. The game just kept creeping up in size. Units got so ridiculously cheap. I mean, there was a point where clan rats were... so clan rat slaves at one point were half a point a model. And yes, I literally mean half a point. Half a point a model. And clan rats were 2.5 points a model. And it just got to that point where they were just so ridiculously cheap. But I think if fantasy goes back to like its 6th edition, which is widely regarded as the best edition of Warhammer fantasy, I think you won't be having that issue at all. Yeah, I think if we go back to that and you go back to sensible stuff, it'll be great. Definitely don't want 8th edition brought out. I want some well thought out changes because there's a reason why fantasy died, and definitely what you're saying is a valid reason of why it died because it was just such a huge buy-in. 300 skeletons, you're probably not, and that's a bit of an over exaggeration for death armies, but you were definitely buying a couple of hundred models. But yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I look forward to it. I hope it's really cool. I hope it is cool. I hope it does well because it's just another one. Yeah, I think there were things in 8th I liked. And like I think 7th is the most forgotten edition. 8th had its good points. That's the thing. 8th had good points. That it was wild and wacky and cool and fun and random. And like 8th was cool like that. There were good bits of 8th. 7th was without a doubt the worst edition because it was like that halfway point. It wasn't quite wacky enough to be 8th, but it also was not level-headed enough to be 6th. So it was that weird point, and no one liked 7th. I think you have lots of people who liked 8th, were quite happy with 8th, and you had lots of people who liked 6th. You don't get a lot of people that liked 7th. But yeah. I will say, well, the one good thing about Mortal Realms is I've got lots of these now. They're okay brushes, the beginner brush from G-Dub, and I don't really care because I've got so many of them thanks to the second edition. I think I've got about 16 of these brushes now. So I'll use them until they die, and I don't really care if they die that quick. But yeah, I think the character series, if we can get that for fantasy, old world, I think will be really cool. Now, AOS has some exciting stuff coming up, though. I'm really looking forward to Broken Realms. I mean, that's my sort of thing. Can't wait. Anyone who knows me knows I'm all about the narrative, and that sort of Broken Realms is just my thing to a T. I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to get some cool stuff. All right, so the Dryad boxes left everything from Fantasy. So in 6th edition Fantasy, units had ranks of 4 models, not 5. Or in fact, it was actually unit strength that was the thing. Oh, no. Come on, focus camera. I'm not having an issue with them. But yeah, so because you had ranks of 4, or unit strength, so different base size will use worth unit strength and all that sort of stuff. So you can have 4 25mm bases are the same as 5 25mm bases. So that's why you find anything on 25mm bases that's left over from Fantasy. That's not later editions of Fantasy. So things like Chaos Warriors, Saurus Warriors, Dryads will all be 16 or 12 models in a box. And that's the reason why. Just because it's how the game used to work back then. Used to run units to 16 of them. It's just an old holdover. In Fantasy, you never had perfectly round numbers. You would take units of 27 models, and you would have a unit of 36 or 33 of something. Yeah, because you would run like weird formations. You'd be like 7x4, so that would make you a unit of 28. That's just a thing from fantasy. Some have, like, I know the newer Dryad box, I'm pretty sure has gone to 20 models. Saurus Warriors have gone to 20 models. Oh no, I don't think the Dryad one did. I think it's just because the way the sprue works. Like the Saurus and the Chaos Warrior ones have gone to 20, but I don't think the Dryad box can actually go to 20. Just because of how the sprues are loaded. Not sure, but that may be the reason why. Because I know Saurus Warriors and Chaos Warriors have both gone to 20 when they were 16. Because they were 4 models per sprue. The Dryads may be a little different. Yeah, that's likely the reason they're going. Yeah, that's true though, Huey. Lots of people used to do that back in fantasy as well. Used to buy like a box of 20 or 10 models, and you could convert one up into like a BSB. Yeah. Cities is cool, but yeah, definitely miss that. Alrighty, so let's get a bit more red, just tidy up this banner, and then we'll start highlighting the horns and hooves. Cheers, Dan. Catch you soon, buddy. Also, before anyone jumps off too, if you are a football fan, so soccer, drop me a message because we're going to be doing a fantasy league for the Premier League. So if you're into that sort of thing, drop us a message. If you, yeah, oh, you mean this box full of Scourge privateers? Like, I'm not even joking. I may very well be the reason why they are out of stock of Scourge privateers. I bought 3 Star Collectings, 3 Charybdis, 100 privateers, and 12 Scourge runners. So I may legitimately be the reason why they don't have any Scourge privateers. Oh yeah, they're the original Sylvaneth dice, the old cool wooden ones. I've got a couple of them. Yes, they are the old wooden Sylvaneth dice. They're really cool. I love the idea of the wooden Sylvaneth dice. They also feel really nice to roll. I know that sounds like an odd thing to say, but they just feel nice. Feel nice in your hands. What was I doing? Oh, who's? So we need administratum. Yeah, so I'm now just highlighting up all the hooves and horns, which is cool. And we just got some details to fill in, and we can probably call these guys done. We get working on the Tuskors and the chariots themselves. No worries, Gary. Have fun, mate. Chat soon. And if you're not already, jump in the Discord. We've got links to that in the chat in the description of the show. Have a good night, though, mate. Or afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. No worries. Awesome, man. I always get mixed up when I see people's names. Everyone has like a different name on Twitter, on the Discord, on Facebook. It's always a I think I know who you are, though, because your name's Gary. No worries, man. Have a good one. I won't keep you any longer. Go before you get in trouble. Alrighty. Now we definitely need a fine detail brush, as we're going to attempt to paint the teeth on a whole bunch of these different beastmen. So, just a little bit screw my skull. I'm just going to stop doing the fine last little details on these, and we're going to get these chariots washed with Agrax, just so once I've done these, I can start moving straight onto them. So, get out a decent sized brush for this. Yeah, talking of like the 1,000 models and stuff I painted, what I'm really happy with too is it's not just like a horde of things that I painted. Like I haven't just painted a bunch of hordes. It's been like armies and bits and pieces. Like in it includes Stormcast models, it includes monsters, it includes chariots and bigger pieces. Like I've got my Loon Shrine included in that. I've got like 6 Hydras, my Black Dragon. I'll probably have my Hurricaneum, and like I've got detailed kits in there as well as like things like a bunch of grots. It's not trying to. I'm not trying to hit the number, if that makes sense, by picking easy things to do. I'm getting there because I'm painting models that I want to be painting and have wanted painted. If that makes any sense at all. So first of all, we're just going to do a wash because I don't want to have to touch the model where I've got the wash drying. We're just going to leave the wheels not washed for now. Come back and wash them once the rest of the wash is dry. No worries, Huey, man. Catch you later, man. Thank you very much for coming and hanging out. Look forward to when we can actually catch up for another game sometime soon, mate. Alrighty, and with that, we might call it a night here for tonight. Thank you very much, everyone, for hanging out. We'll catch up again real soon, all right? Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. I'll catch you all again real soon. Ciao for now.